Welcome to Living Room Montessori. This video will show you how to use Montessori principles to set up your home to support the development of your 4 to 8 month old. I am an AMI primary trained guide with a master's in Montessori education and a first-time mom. This channel chronicles the journey as my son and I discover what it's like to do Montessori living and learning at home. The area for movement and activity is an ever-changing and expanding space in the prepared environment. As your child grows, their needs within a space will also change. Their gross motor and fine motor skills have developed so that your space will need to change to provide the appropriate stimulus, as well as the room to safely move around and explore. When making changes in your home, it's important to include your child in the process. Change can be overwhelming for children who feel safest in spaces that are familiar and predictable to them. When making changes, you can orient your child to the new space by letting them watch what you're doing and talking through the process. If changes are made when your child is not around, you can give them a tour of the area and show them all of the new things you've done for them. I began in the upstairs. I first put away the mobiles once my son began sitting up and showing less interest in them. I also removed the rocking chair so there was more space to roll and crawl around. I ended up moving to the daybed to feed him. I took away the mat as I observed it wasn't offering enough traction as he began crawling. My son also began showing interest in pulling himself up to standing, so I created a standing bar. I found a mirror and a picture from a secondhand store, and I ordered a towel bar that I reinforced. After painting them all to match, I mounted everything to the wall at the appropriate height. Next, I moved downstairs and I modified our living room. I began with the normal safety checks, outlets, cords, and removed furniture with sharp corners. We have tile throughout the downstairs, so I used an assortment of foam padding under our existing rug to ensure that the space was ready to accommodate any tumbles. I rearranged the furniture to create a barrier around the perimeter of the rug. My mentality was to create a yes space, where I wouldn't have to be continuously stopping or redirecting my son because something wasn't safe for him to use. I wanted to protect his concentration and encourage his independence, build his confidence, and give him time and space to explore by preparing a place that was truly meant for him. Designing a place like this is an illustration of a concept that Montessorians call freedom within limits, and we'll be revisiting this topic and exploring it further in other videos. I also repurposed the shelf that was upstairs and painted it white. This is a great activity shelf because it's the right height for him to crawl up to and access the toys on the lowest shelf, and it's heavy enough for him to pull himself up so he can get things off the top shelf independently. I placed light items and toys in containers on the top shelf so that as the items were knocked down, it didn't hurt my son. I grouped 3 to 4 items in each of these containers, and we'll be discussing these activity baskets or activity containers in another video. Adding a mirror to this alcove gave him another place to explore his facial expressions and features. I also included large pillows, baby height furniture, and ottomans in this space to encourage movement. When changing and creating spaces in your home, it's important to observe what is creating an obstacle for your child and remove it if possible. Every child learns new skills on their own timing, so you want to follow your child's pace so you can prepare a space that is supporting them where they're at. These months mark the transition from only breast milk or formula to the introduction of different solid foods. As the diet of the baby becomes more diverse, the needs for the feeding area expands to the kitchen area of the home. The Montessori method encourages the use of a weaning table or heavy child-sized table and child-sized chair with armrests to add extra support and comfort. The table is set with child-sized dishes on top of a placemat with indicators showing where each item goes. The Montessori method does recommend an open cup instead of a sippy cup. I plan to create another video that will guide you through making this transition with your child. You also might notice that many Montessori programs use glass cups, but I haven't started with that in my home. Again, I want to create another video addressing questions surrounding drinking out of an open cup. Let me know in the comments below some of the questions you already have. This detailed picture of a properly set table communicates to the child that this is a space in the home meant for them and provides opportunity for the child to live out what they see other members of the family doing. The Montessori method also recommends placing a high chair at the table so that meals can be shared as a family. This ideal picture is not always easy or practical for the family to live through every day. Even though we all have different eating arrangements, there is a Montessori mindset that we all can use when transitioning our little ones to eating solid foods at a table. The focus includes creating a sense of family belonging and focusing on steps to build more independence at the dinner table. Thinking about your child eating independently one day might feel overwhelming when you look at your child, the table, and the floor covered in food. But it is possible if you think about the process in incremental steps. These small steps center around increasing the skill of the hands and coordination of the body, so that each aspect of the eating experience slowly becomes easier for the baby to do on their own. For my family, I first found a high chair that fit easily at our table, and I chose one that could adjust as the baby grows. I also bought a child-sized table and chair set. I chose a dish set that had a placemat built in, with a bowl that was low enough for my son to see into. It came with spoons that were easy to hold and a small cup. I found small washcloths that I could use to wipe his face after he was finished eating, and later on I will use them as napkins. I found large towel bibs that he could pull down over his head so that in the future he'll be able to put it on himself. Some families decide to start with soft finger foods, but I began with purees. In the beginning, I handed my son a spoonful of puree for him to put in his mouth. Next, I began to place this spoon full of puree in the bowl for him to pick up. I needed to work with him on how to position his hands to pick up from the bowl. Then I began alternating the side that I put the spoon in the bowl, so he could practice using both hands. He began dropping the spoon off the table when he finished, so now I'm working with him on how to place the empty spoon on the table. Next, I want to show him how to push the puree from the bowl into the spoon. These are some examples of the small steps I've been slowly implementing. It takes a while and requires a lot of consistency on the adult's end. The area for physical care is the prepared space in your home for changing diapers and clothes. All the items needed are organized and readily available for changing your little one. The time spent changing your child is a great opportunity to have conversations, sing songs, and recite poetry. Eye contact, dynamic facial expressions, and lots of language support your child's development. When changing my son's diapers or clothes, I will describe the process. This includes my son in each step, keeps him informed in what is happening to his body, and provides vocabulary for the parts of his body and type of clothes. As my son has been rolling over, sitting up, and now standing, it has been more challenging to keep him on the changing table. I have included teethers, rings, and various toys at the changing table to engage his attention and occupy his hands while changing his diaper. I have also found ways to change his clothes on the floor. I guide him through pushing his hands through his shirt sleeve and pushing his feet through the leg holes of his pants. I hope by taking time and talking through the dressing and undressing process, it will become part of the groundwork that will eventually lead to him changing himself on his own one day. For now, the slow movements invite him to engage and become more aware of his body. I also offer my son choices when changing his clothes by holding up two options. At first, he studied one of the options longer, and I took that as his choice. As more time passed, he began reaching for the clothing item that interested him. I'm always looking for small ways for him to express his choice and exercise more independence. It's a slow and subtle process, but over time it will become so much more. Around this age, the Montessori method recommends the use of a floor bed. This low bed is easy for the child to access on their own and allows them to pursue sleep when they're tired. Because this bed is so close to the floor, it is safe for the baby to move on and off the bed freely without tumbling or falling. Over time, easy access to a bed develops an awareness of needing to rest and the child's ability to respond to their own tiredness. This is a beautiful picture of sleep independence. Setting up the room to accommodate a floor bed is still a goal for my family, but it's not something that we are ready for just yet. Right now, my son is sleeping in a crib in our room and practicing falling asleep on his own. Each family will have their own safe sleep setups and routines. In the end, I believe it's about observing your little one and finding ways to continue to guide them through the learning process of better sleep. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you feel encouraged and empowered to create your own Montessori-inspired spaces within your home. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Take care. Bye.